qualified for the job and not just another poor slob. It's Rhyme and Reason 569.
There's a rhyme and reason for your life. There's a rhyme and reason why you...
Hey there, Tony here again with another Rhyme and Reason episode about being qualified for the job and not just another poor slob. And you might think, well, what does this have to do with anything? And why are you talking about this? Well, maybe it'll be clear, and maybe this won't apply to you at all, and you can turn it down, turn it off, and wait till something else that comes along from the Rhyme and Reason archives that you would like better. Anyway, I'm going to talk about how back when I was in high school, I remember when I graduated, that, and I'm sure most of you have graduated, most of you listening right now, and somebody's graduated outside and driving by in their hot rod, so if you hear that in the background, that's what it was. Anyway, when you graduate, it's a case of now you're dumped out into the real world, right? You got all those horizons they were talking about at your graduation exercises and ceremonies, and hey, all your future is ahead of you. And then you get out there and you realize, oh my goodness, the real world is looming large, and you have to figure out what you got to do so your parents don't have to support you anymore. And for me, I didn't prefer to go to college. I mean, at least not right away. I did end up going, but I didn't go right after high school. So the second choice was, okay, say it with me, go to work, right? You got to go get a job. But you know what? I found out, and I bet a lot of people have found this out, I wasn't qualified for the job. And it didn't matter what it was. I wasn't qualified for much of anything that I really wanted to do. But, you go in and you find that out. Well, you're not qualified. But how can you ever be qualified for the job if no one will hire you to do any of the jobs? Well, that's the age-old question, right? Especially for young people just starting out in the world. And it really was much more of a legitimate question back before the internet and all it has to offer, because there are so many things now that a young person could do to jump online and make a ton of money. Some of them are doing it without a high school education or a high school diploma, we'll put it that way. But it's still important to build up qualifications for a vocation. And if you know what that is nowadays, you have a lot of opportunities. You can pursue your passion, as they say, without the need for college. Matter of fact, these days, I recommend skipping college altogether. I didn't go the full 4 years. I didn't, but I did go. And I was very disillusioned with what I found there, so that's why I didn't keep on going. But as you might expect, if you've been following me for a while on TonyFunderburk.com or here on the Rhyme and Reason podcast, I'm not bringing this up to help you find a job or a career. My focus actually is the qualified part. I'm talking about qualifications, because your life should go on forever, not just, through high school and then after and get a job and maybe work a job or a career at some level for a certain amount of time, and then it's all over and, you retire and die. No, I'm not talking about that. I mean, it should go on forever, and it should go in a place that's far better than any dream job or career you could ever dream up. It should go far beyond what you're even able to compare that to. But you'll need to be qualified to be there. It's the most exclusive and the most inclusive residence you'll ever occupy. Okay, Tony, so what are the qualifications and how can I be qualified? I don't know why you're talking to me like that in that tone of voice. But anyway, okay, it's really not all that complicated. Just get yourself plenty of wisdom and spiritual understanding. And if you get plenty of that, maybe you'd find yourself that you'd be able to walk worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing Him, being fruitful in every good work. and increasing in the knowledge of God, maybe even strengthened with all might. But that's according to his glorious power for all patience and long-suffering with joy. Now, some of that sounds like some of that fruit of the Spirit, fruit that I was talking about, that keto-friendly fruit I talked about in the last episode, if you're following these episodes in order. Well, that sounds like a lot of work, dude. Not sure I can do all that. Yeah, with that tone of voice, I bet you can't. Anyway, well, in that case, I suggest trust and give thanks to the Father who has qualified us to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in the light. He can do that? Yes, he can, because he has delivered us from the power of darkness and conveyed us, think of a conveyor belt, take us from one place to another into the kingdom of the Son of his love. And that's the only place you'll be qualified, and it's the only place you'll have redemption. That's a good thing to have. That's an awesome thing to have. It's a necessary thing to have through his blood, him being Jesus, and the forgiveness of sins. In other words, every single bit of the hard work has already been done for you. So, even if you're a newbie Christian, you're hired for the higher life in heaven. How cool is that? There's nothing cooler. Your best friend is the living ruler. So know this, that he lived and then died and rose again, and he's qualified. And then so are you. All right, I'll leave you with that for now. More stuff coming up soon on the Rhyme and Reason podcast, brought to you by TonyFunderburk.com. I suggest you go over there today. Don't delay. Click on that merch tab. You'll see a picture of the Rhyme and Reason t-shirt. You click on that, and you can get the t-shirt that says, and it's the only place where you can get it, that says, life has rhyme and reason because God made you.
There's a